Where do you think is the best place to start off?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at your ad account.
Sure.
And then once we see some how that's working, and then we can start going through these questions.
Yeah, so basically the way this is structured right now is pretty basic. After going through some of your course, I'm kind of operating with the assumption that I should just restructure everything.
Yeah.
But despite that, I mean, it has been working for us so far. But I am seeing kind of a diminishing return starting to kick in here. So like purchase lookalike conversions is just a campaign doing like 1 all the way to 5% based on purchases. That's obviously our best campaign so far. This is only Calgary. We're just starting to expand into a new market into Vancouver. So I've set those up as separate campaigns. Same thing here. Same thing here, except this is strictly doing stories, which is probably not the right thing to do. This is an add to cart lookalike audience, and then basically a very simple retargeting. And then same thing here, purchase lookalike specifically for stories.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the ones that are for stories are pretty much the lowest in return on ad spend.
Yeah, they were doing okay. But it's kind of the Vancouver one in general is kind of been a bit weak. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Let's do this instead. Then go to the ad set level to see what's going on. I mean, if you want to stay above a 3x, right?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I'm not mad at a 2x, but
Okay.
yeah, we want to try and get that up higher for sure.
I would go ahead and turn these two off just because there's not really anything happening here. Or realistically, you could turn the 1 to 2% off since it's spent more than your cost per purchase. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is all we care about really looking at the last 7 days when we're kind of making these decisions?
I would say so for the most part, yeah. You could
Okay.
also check, like, for instance, today, just to see if it had a purchase, just to like be, confirm that it's not on the right trajectory. But other than that, yeah, for the most part, because this is like
Okay.
a period that gets the most data, depending on what you're spending.
Right. And what campaign is that one? I'm assuming that's stories for Vancouver.
Yeah, no idea, but I mean, either way, it's not going to be worth keeping.
Yeah.
So we'd cut that one. Then these two right here are probably your next two that you cut. But before we cut them, we could always check and see what the ads are. In this case, yeah, we just cut these two campaigns, right? Because they're not positive return on ad spend.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. The add to cart lookalikes started off strong, and then over the last 7 days have just kind of tanked.
Yeah. So we're at 1.73. This should end up increasing it some more. Once we refresh, it'll change. All right. And then what's this? 1.15. And these next two, really these next 3, 4, 5. So all these we're just gonna, before we decide whether or not we want to cut these, what I would say is just we're gonna check the ad level again just to confirm.
Okay, got it. So you're just selecting them, and then that shows you the ads for those ad sets you've selected.
Yeah, because since it's under 2x, right? You said you wanted to 2 or above, you'd be happy with.
Yeah.
And so in this case, everything's under 2 on the ad set level that we selected. But just to be 100% positive before we cut those, because they're not above where they need to be, and they've already spent some, a good number, right? $600 we're talking. So
Yep.
we're just identifying to see if there's any ads here that have 2x and above. And if there is, then that's a good thing. But if not, then there's no sense in even making any optimizations period on these ad sets. We'll just cut them. And in this case, that
Sure.
holds true because we don't see anything above a 2x here.
Yeah. Ultimately, I'm running basically the same 3 to 4 ads with no variations across all of these campaigns as well. So really, for the most part, it's going to be the ad set itself that's probably not delivering, or the audience. So I need to do way more rigorous, I think, creative testing.
Yeah. Even when we do last 14 on these, like your best one is just right at 2. So, I mean, still,
Right.
nothing exciting there. So we'll just turn those off. Make sense?
Yep, definitely.
And then we have this one, which I'll just keep an eye on over the next few days. It's at $15, but the moment I would say it passes, scratch that. We're going to cut this one actually. We're going to go ahead and cut it. Reason B is because look right here, 15, 15, 13, 14, all have purchases, no?
Yep.
This one is 15, 57. So those other ones are no good. I mean, this one's no good since those have good cost per purchase. So we'll cut this one as well. All right. Now we're left with a 2.15, and we're going to take these 3 now. And before we do anything with these are above where you wanted them. I'm just going to check the ad level. And in this case, it looks like you only have 3 ads, 1 in each. Okay. Is your budget on the ad set level or the campaign?
Campaign. These are all CBOs.
Okay. All right. So we'll leave these for now, but I just keep an eye on them.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So 1.73 with all those other audiences, we refresh this. Took it from a 1.73 to a 2.73. So that's about a 1x higher. So it's a pretty good increase for this.
Yeah. My question, I honestly have so many questions here. Like the other one that we were bumping into here is just a frequency issue, because we are targeting, a city of 1 million people and then just expanding into another city of 1 million people. That's pretty much all we got to work with. How do you think about trying to determine whether or not, you should try and start finding new audiences and have run out of your current audience working? Is it just based on return on ad spend?
I would use this tool just to identify those issues.
So this is insights.
Yeah,
You select
because
an ad set that you want to look at.
right, because you
Okay.
can see pretty quickly if you're over exhausting an audience. Like first time impression ratio in this case, like you're at a 45. I mean, you're still getting purchases though, even though
Yeah, that's the thing.
you only got a little bit of people you've reached that are new.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems crazy, like the frequency, like the number of times people are seeing it. But again, if the purchases are still rolling in, is there a chance that we're just getting a lot of our existing customers to see that same ad and come back and buy again, and that's making it seem like we're getting new customers through it?
Could be. Yeah, that's always one thing. Another way moving forward, what you need to do is exclude the audience you used to create this with. So let's see if you're doing that.
Got it. Oh, so exclude purchasers when you're from the purchase lookalike audience.
Depending on what this audience is, let's see. So yeah, this one right here. So you would exclude this exact audience that you used to create it. So it'd be.
I actually didn't create a custom audience first, I believe.
So
Would it
whichever
just
this
be,
is. Okay.
yeah, probably purchase 7
Then it
day.
would just be purchases. Yeah. No, I do. Gotcha. Because you have rebuys, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd exclude the purchases here. And that's going to
Purchase
force
7 day purchase on all of those ad sets.
Yeah, that's fine. Since, anything after that, I mean, if people are coming back to purchase, I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
So that way you're reaching new people. But overall, this increased the returns here on these campaigns alone. which should help with increasing the returns. And then you can do the same thing for these other ones, like your purchase lookalike conversions on the ad set, on the ad level at least.
Well, so do you think, I know we're trimming and all that, but is it worth just starting from scratch with a better foundation, more ad sets, more ads? How do you think, since obviously this has kind of just been slapped together?
Nothing wrong with optimizing what you have here, because you saw it went up 1x, right? Like imagine if we just add another 2x across the board as an overall average. I mean, that's going to make a big difference.
Right.
So like these here, you could optimize as well just by turning these two off. 2 small ads. Turn those off. Everything else is fine here. Makes sense?
Yep.
And you just rinse and repeat through the rest of these. And
And
what's
how
this
do you
retargeting
feel?
size audience?
I think this is only people that added to cart and didn't purchase. So I'm
Oh,
planning on
wow.
kind of,
Okay.
yeah,
So when you go ahead and you'll want rebuys now, people coming back and purchasing.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should do an audience where it's like people who have purchased. Then you should do an audience of people who viewed the site. Then you should do an audience of people who interacted with the ad, all of them.
Got it.
That'll give you a lot more audience opportunities here.
Yeah. If you go to my Evernote, here, actually, I have it pinned right here in the top right. I'll click on it. So I had a rough idea of kind of how I wanted to restructure here. I guess I'll add to this here.
Yeah, these are all the correct ways that you would want to do it moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. All of this looks right.
What
Perfect.
are your thoughts on keeping the cities their own campaigns, kind of like I have?
Yeah, you should.
Okay. Just
Because
to
they're
allow
different
that city to
markets that
optimize.
they're different markets that you're going into, right?
Right.
Because if you know that like Vancouver is just not doing so well, you'll see that visually through the campaign rather than having to like seek out which ad sets it is and trying to filter it all.
Right.
And you might be
Okay.
fine with spending more money in Vancouver versus Calgary just because it's a new market that you might be going into and you're just trying to expand and you know the costs are high there because nobody knows about you.
Exactly. And do you think that this is the right thing to do, of having add to cart lookalikes and purchase lookalikes under the same CBO for the city?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Because currently they're in separate CBOs. So should I just kind of combine those audiences now, or combine the
But
campaigns?
you could also do, I mean, if you really wanted to, yeah. So I mean, like you could have multiple like Calgary add to cart and then purchases and then split them out that way still, as long as you're just titling the campaign name. Or you could keep them in separate ad accounts if you wanted to by city. It just
Okay.
depends, right?
And
Depends
but
on
this
spend.
structure, I
This, what you
mean,
have here will work. Yeah, this is good.
by you like this in terms of like 12 ad sets under a CBO for Calgary, like 1 to 5% add to cart purchases, and then only 2 ad sets for leads, since it's a little bit of a weaker audience.
Yep, that's fine. As long as you just optimize them.
Yeah, I mean, we did just kill a bunch of these ad sets here. I think most of them. Um,
Yeah.
but you don't think it's worth kind of starting from scratch to kind of get to this structure, since it's really not structured even.
I wouldn't start
uh,
from scratch. I would just start moving forward, like just rebuild as you go.
and what would be the best way to do that? Is it to, like duplicate the ad sets that are currently on? So say I'm looking
Mm,
at,
let's see. Hold on. Sorry. Here's a way to do it. What is this campaign here? The are these? What city is this?
that's Calgary.
So you could just rename this one, just how you have it for what you're going to do here. There you go. There's the first one. and it has the first 5 ones in here. Then you just name these, and then you can keep moving forward. And honestly, you could name this one like proven. I wouldn't even throw anything into this one because it's working, you know? So like I would create another campaign for testing.
Testing different audiences like
The ones you have
lookalike
listed.
leads.
Yep, exactly. Well, for Vancouver, if you're going to do Calgary, you can also do testing. So don't do anything in this one since it's working.
Got it. And then, oh, it looks like I think we just killed, right. So we killed that entire campaign, the add to cart lookalike for Calgary, it looks like.
Yeah. So like
Looks like
your
that
returns are
campaign's
much
gone.
higher now.
Got it. So would you not recommend retesting that audience at all?
Probably not. If it didn't work in that case, it's probably not likely going to work in another.
Yeah. And then purchase lookalike conversion stories. So I've set up like a completely different campaign just for vertical video. Is that, can you recommend a better way to structure that? I know it's probably a little bit messy.
Vertical video.
Yeah, like I've just set up basically its own campaign, its own CBO for vertical video. So
Oh
that
yeah,
entire campaign's
that'll be a
story.
flop entirely.
Yeah, I mean
Is
it's
that one
been
already
running for
running?
it's been running for a while. So that's purchase lookalike conversion stories. It's the third one down.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
see.
running that for I don't know how long it's been, but
No, what you should do is there's a way to format it without having to do that. So are you talking about where the story format you made it to fit just for the story placement?
yeah, this is just the story placement. That's right. And then the other ones are only newsfeed placement.
Okay, let's take a look. You should get away from Bitly as well.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah, so like moving forward, you don't need to split it out by campaign. What you can do is like you see this button here, select edit placement. Like for instance, we'll do this on a different example since you have everything like really all the settings are tightened up there, so we can't do much. Let's go to something that's more opened up. So like for instance, this picture, right? Or we can use the video here that it looks similar.
Yeah, similar video, just in horizontal for news feeds.
Yeah, exactly. So here, moving forward, you can cut that campaign and just fix these creatives moving forward. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So like, for instance, let's scroll up. We just passed it. Is this feed only placement as well?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
moving forward, just do automatic, right?
yeah, yeah. And you still recommend making vertical video specific content and then just
Yeah.
editing placement?
Yeah, you just go to select placement to edit. We don't even have it because you have this stuff locked up, but for
Right. Yeah.
instance, it'll
Yeah.
show you.
I've seen it. I kind of know what
Yeah,
you're
there you
talking
go.
about.
And you can just place the vertical, you can place the square, you can place landscape, and it essentially allows you to show up in every placement no matter what. Like no matter what placement it is, you'll be able to show there. Because you can actually clip it for every single one. When it says like, oh, it's not long enough, you can upload that placement type for that length. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So no matter what, you can get to every single placement that way.
Okay. So you'd recommend killing that story campaign, and am I even able to edit these
For
other
the
ad
story
sets at this point?
campaign, yep, do that. Launch and automatic placements. Do not even touch this one at all. I mean, or the retargeting, but these three, feel free to cut these and like relaunch them because I mean, like, none's too exciting about a 2.33.
Well, I would love to honestly relaunch a lookalike purchase with automatic placements, but
Do it.
as a separate campaign, even though we already have lookalike purchase in this proven one.
But this is Calgary. Are these not Vancouver?
Yeah, these are Vancouver. I just mean for Calgary as well. You know, Calgary's kind of missing out on not having automatic placements in general in any campaign.
Yeah, that's fine. You can duplicate it and then switch it to automatic placements and then see if it outperforms the other. But the only thing is you're going to run into an issue with overlap of spend. So you'll just have to monitor it closely very early on. Like, don't let them both run forever.
And don't edit the existing proven campaign to just all of a sudden now be automatic placements.
Absolutely not. That's like your
No.
best one so far, besides retargeting. But I mean, in terms of spending levels, the proven one's the best.
Okay. Okay. Let's make some notes here. And is the idea you just always have this proven CBO running, and as you find new ad sets that are winning, you move them into that CBO?
No, not don't do that. What you could do now to exit learning faster, when you duplicate this and switch it to automatic placements, right? Are you following?
Yeah. So duplicate every one of these ad sets into a new campaign.
Just duplicate this campaign.
Okay.
Then what you're going to do is you're going to have one ad set with all of these audiences in it, because we already know these work. Okay. All of them work. They're all good. Okay. So there's no point in splitting them out, because you see how this one's exited learning and it's active, and we're not even in learning anymore with this one.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty consistent. I mean, 77 purchases, it's working. It's on a daily basis. It's literally just achieving what it needs to achieve. So same thing could be happening to these audiences. They're just not ever going to be able to exit learning just because of your budget cap. So whenever you combine all of them, you only do this whenever you know they're working. So just stack them all. This is the only case you would do this, because we know it works. Once you put them all together, it's going to expand your audience size, which prevents any overlap. And that also allows you to spend more money on one ad set, which will allow you to exit learning way earlier.
Interesting.
And you'll
Okay.
officially exit. You'll get way more consistent results. And these are already consistent. So imagine what that would mean.
And so you're saying, okay, so
And
duplicate
then
it.
you'd
It's
have all
one ad
automatic
set.
placements, right? Yeah. So the
Right.
audience size would be bigger. You'd have more consistent. You'd get a lot more sales. It'd be like,
And how does,
really
where
good.
does that concern of overlap, how do you kind of determine, if that campaign starts working really well, does that mean this campaign is going to get turned off because of the overlap?
Yeah. And that's fine.
Got it. Okay, that's smart. That makes sense. That was one of my questions, because we really have never made it out of learning pretty much until now on that one ad set. Would you ever optimize for anything other than purchases, like add to carts as a conversion?
Absolutely not. Never.
No. Okay.
Only purchases. I mean, do you want add to carts?
I mean, no, purchases. We've been struggling so hard to get out of this learning phase.
No, yeah, that was the answer. You just consolidate all those winners and boom, you're out.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Okay. Can you go back to the campaign level? So you're saying kill the top 3.
Yep.
And then launch a new Calgary CBO that is okay for all placements. So that'll kind of take care of the stories one that I have there. And then basically launch one Vancouver CBO that's testing the ad sets that I have listed in my Evernote there.
Correct. Yep. That's right. And realistically, yeah, I mean, that'll work. And then if the returns aren't as high as these, as a 2.73, then just flip it back off and flip these back on. No harm.
Yep. Okay.
And it looks like, just based off this, your highest returns are coming from, so you have 1.3, 1.16, 1.34, nothing really above a 1.4 in this case, but the moment your returns start to drop is the moment you get above a 1.4. See?
Yeah. And I mean, really, like our mission here is to expand this across Canada. And obviously, like the holy grail of this for us is if we can figure out a Facebook ad strategy. Like Vancouver, I'm honestly shocked that it's working, because we have a way worse offer No one's ever heard of us. We're doing like order today, you get it delivered in 5 days. So this has still very much been an experiment for us. So I'm shocked that we're even getting a 2 times return on ad spend. That being said, after watching your kind of the first 2 phases, it's obvious to me that we need to experiment with way, way, way more ad creatives and just call to actions and things like that. So given that we already have these campaigns running and we're going to restructure in this way, how do you recommend experimenting with new ads now that this is already like something that's going?
So for instance, yeah. So keeping with this example, in terms of testing with new creatives, don't test them in this audience.
Okay.
Don't test them in this audience. You can test them in like a different campaign with other audiences, or whenever you relaunch in Vancouver with the new campaign, just have all those new creatives in there as well.
Right. Okay.
So that way you don't ever disturb what's working, right? Because you need one, or like you need two that are actually like pumping out all these high returns and sales to just keep this, cash flow rolling.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. And that'll really help with increasing your returns. And then you'll likely be able to take over, all of Vancouver in that case, because if that's what you're seeing here, just imagine what's going to happen once you're actually at full scale and have all these things dialed in.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've experienced this with like a company expanding from one city to another and Facebook trying to, like initially Facebook, obviously they've looked at our pixel data and we're like, okay, all of their customers are in Calgary. And now that data is slowly, smallly switching to like a few transactions in Vancouver. Do you find it takes quite a bit of time for that lookalike audience? Because we're effectively targeting the same lookalike purchase audience in Vancouver as Calgary, just different location targeting. Do you find it takes quite a while for that to lookalike to kind of switch over to whatever the new city is?
Of course. I mean, always when you're entering some place new that nobody's ever heard of you or anything at all, it's always going to be that barrier to entry initially. But I mean, as it starts to get the purchases and the data starts to roll through, consistency comes in, and then you start seeing your returns grow and grow.
Mhm. Okay. For retargeting, can that, I'm assuming that can just be for both cities. We don't need to do the same thing as we're doing for the campaigns. We can retarget Vancouver and Calgary in one campaign.
Correct. Yep, that's right.
Okay. Um, is it okay if we go through some of the questions I had written down?
Yeah, let's do it.
And I'm just going to take notes as you kind of riff through these. So, okay, let's start with the Facebook pixel. We're tracking leads through, I'll show you my website quick here. Okay, so order to my house, this creates a lead. However, so you click order to my house, then we get them to choose their city, segmenting collections. So once they land on this URL, it tags them as a lead as well, because they could have also gotten to this page through our menu. So I am afraid we're kind of double tagging leads. I don't know if that matters.
Show me again.
So they can go our menu, and then this URL, this URL is a collection. This is tagging them as a lead if they get to this page.
Oh, well, hold on.
Same with
Click your
Vancouver.
pixel. I wouldn't tag them as a lead. I would tag them as, why are you considering them a lead? Just because they're looking at the food options?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Switch
so
that to view
the main
content.
way was if they click order to my house, this tags them as a lead.
No, that doesn't work either. Click that.
It takes them to this same page
No.
here.
Drop both of those as leads and scroll back, click on Calgary, or just show me that page again. Switch
Yep.
this to view content, because this is the official way that the pixel reads it. View content. This is actually, realistically, when you click on the burrito bowl, that's a view content. But in this
Well, the thing
case,
is they're never really viewing the actual product, because we're getting them to add at least 4 or more. So when they go add to cart, it just updates and then they keep adding
perfect.
to their cart.
This is view content then. Switch it to view content. The pixel
Okay.
understands it better that way.
Okay.
I mean, because it's not going to make sense of that being a lead. It might be a lead in your eyes, and the pixel's going to take it for what you say, but realistically, it'll read it much better and optimize much better as a view content event.
I mean, this is currently, it looks like page view and then
Switch that one to view content. Yep, just swap
page
these.
view. Okay.
Yeah, and then the add to cart, can you show me that again? And that just looked a little strange.
Yeah, so that was my other question here
Don't switch
was,
page view. Leave page view on there.
oh,
Always.
lead page view. Okay, so switch lead to. Okay.
Correct.
To content. I'm going to click it.
Yep.
So we're getting a ton of, obviously, like add to cart, because people are adding 4 to 10 items.
You have a product catalog now?
Yeah, it's not linked right now. I don't think it is. That was one of my questions.
Oh yeah, you should go ahead and link it. I mean, you have all the correct content parameters here to go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Because then what happens is you can say, you know, every single person who ends up adding a Caesar salad to cart purchases, but every single person who adds a superfood salad is like, they have like a 2% conversion rate versus the Caesar that has a 9. You know, then
Okay.
it's like, you know what, let's just build an audience off of everybody who viewed content and added Caesar salad to cart, because these superfood people, they just don't make their decisions. But these Caesar salad
Right.
heads are like all in.
Right. Okay.
No hate on the superfood.
Yeah, that's a best seller.
There you go.
Let's
Let's
see.
flip them then.
Okay, I actually had that question here. So yeah, tracking add to carts. Like if I just look at our pixel right now, like 11.3 thousand leads, 15.3 thousand add to carts, just because we're getting people adding many products to their cart.
Yep, switch lead to view content, because now
Yeah.
go back to your
Okay.
site. Do you capture emails?
No, we don't.
Ooh, that's sickening. What do you mean?
I mean, we don't until, yeah, obviously we have an abandoned cart sequence set up.
Unreal. You could be twice the size if you do that.
You think with a pop-up box?
Oh yeah, because hover over your, go down to those blue plus signs down there.
Mm-hmm.
Now hover over lead. Oh, look at that, 19%, hover over lead, 6%. 6% of all the people who are firing as leads, you only get 6% of their information. Only 6% of it is being sent to Facebook, that they're able to match it to an actual profile. That other 94% you're missing out on, Facebook just doesn't even understand who it is. They can't figure it out. They can't match it to a profile. They can't find their Instagram. There's no way, because their IP, they might be on their phone driving in a car, and Facebook just can't make sense of that route or connection they're on. So they're not linking it to a profile.
And so
you add in
Facebook,
that, you add in email where people are dropping their emails on your site, you're going to see that 6% jump to like a 40, and then it's just going to start going up from there. And then all of a sudden your audiences are twice as more accurate. And then when you do lookalikes, it's able to identify people who are actually going to be most similar to those people.
Got it. So do you set that up as an event when you have one of those pop-up boxes on your website?
Yeah, it's a lead event. That's the actual one you would use it for, because it receives email information. You should have one at the bottom of your site where it's like subscribe. You don't have to make it obvious or promote it. It just needs to be there, because people will naturally do it. We have like, we'll run a campaign just directly to an add to cart page, but like somehow there's always like 600 to 800 people always submitting their emails down there in the box. And it's free emails. Then you got free email marketing. It's all kinds of free extra stuff to just increase your purchases, and it grows your pixel data. We try to hit 99% on all of our match rates. And then on our ads, we'll notice everybody's commenting like, wow, this is perfect timing. How did you end up finding me? I can't believe this ad was shown to me. This is accurate. You know, they feel like it's literally like perfect timing, like almost like on their mind type of timing.
And this comes down to capturing their email on your website and
Not
tracking that as a
necessarily,
lead.
just being able to increase those match rates, which would be a part of the email submission, right? Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's keep
6% is
rattling.
really, really, really low. So just so that way we have perspective.
Okay. Well, I will do that right away. That's pretty easy to implement.
Awesome.
Okay. So let's rip through some of these. Yeah, actually, I asked this in the Facebook group because I've been trying to wrestle with this on how to get, how do I get rid of this? Um, how to get weekly purchase retention. You know
Nice.
what, like this. Yeah, so just because we are kind of a recurring business, do you know how to, I'm in cohorts, the best way to find weekly purchase retention analytics?
Yeah. Well, do you track that on your backend system?
We don't. I don't think Shopify tracks it.
Okay. So let's see here. We could do just as a test, just to see if we can get this to go through. If we go to revenue here, and then we want to go ahead and do a we'll just do this for a test. So you could end up breaking this down. And we'll just do purchases. And then, so we have unique weekly. So this is unique every single week. And then to identify if it's the same people purchasing over and over, you're going to need to first off have purchase information coming through. So that was turned off. Now we need that on. And then you don't have any user information here, do you? Yeah, you're not tracking user IDs, so that's going to be an issue. Because let's say that you have unique purchases versus total purchases. It doesn't matter because technically one person could buy 3 times in 1 week. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a recurring, right?
Right.
So you'd have to have unique IDs, like unique user IDs. So to be able to identify that, you're going to have to implement that on tracking.
Okay. Well, this isn't that big of a deal. There's probably other more pressing questions. I was kind of just curious if this was an easy report to pull up because it
No, it
comes into
gets,
play with how much I'm willing to acquire a customer for on Facebook ads and how much do we want to be pushing on subscriptions and things like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, the fastest way to do it is, I mean, you could download your lifetime value, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at lifetime before this.
Because that breaks that down.
Yep.
And did that give you any insights?
Yeah, it did. Like it's definitely showing. The way I was doing this was 90 days and I filtered to purchase or paying users. Um, and yeah, I mean, it definitely is showing that, roughly what
Yeah, I mean, this is
retention is.
great. Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
It's growing now.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
I mean,
so this is it right
people
here.
are
This is
loving the
fine. I
service.
just use this in this case.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's going to break it down for you.
Okay.
It's keeping track, but keep in mind, it'll be more accurate with those percentages being able to increase. But you probably have a high percentile on your purchases here. So, I mean, let's see. Yeah, 100%. So you're fine. It's working. So no matter what, this is going to be accurate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this should be good to
Okay.
go.
Let me pop back over to this. I'll make a quick note here. Okay. Campaigns. So, okay, we've kind of gone through restructuring. Are you always using CBOs or when do you not use a CBO?
During testing, we don't.
Okay.
That's just to be able to identify which ones are working.
Right. Okay. So you can have a fixed amount of a budget go toward each ad set that you're testing.
Yep.
What would you recommend for these new tests that I'm doing, like $10 a day per ad set, let it run for a few days?
That's right.
Okay. 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 No, we've answered this. What are other audiences I should be targeting? So yeah, I mean, I guess this comes down to testing. Like, I think I'm going to start doing a little bit more interest targeting.
Lifetime value. You could do lifetime value with lookalikes.
Okay. Okay. Because we did have some early success here. I'll show you quickly. Like, this is what got us off the ground was, here we go. We did like cooking, organic food, health and wellness, salad, healthy habits, physical fitness. And I mean, like, it was okay. It was four return on ad spend. And the way that I was operating at the time was like, look, I'm using interest targeting just to gather enough data to be able to switch towards lookalike audiences. And then I'm going to kill the interest targeting, which is what I've done. But now that I feel like we are kind of working our way through these lookalike audiences in the cities, do you think that it's a good idea to go back and start testing these interests again to
I would
expand
say
the
so.
audience?
Yeah, you did it right that way. So that's a good thing to repeat.
Okay.
It's always good at extracting data and being able to build it up.
Then basically what I have down here is pretty solid. Like in terms of, I'll do so non-CBO, this will be, it's a regular campaign for my interest targeting.
Yeah.
Interest testing. I might even add that LTV lookalike. Okay. And then, okay, conversion window. So I would set everything set to 7-day click, 1-day view. Change that to just 7-day click.
Yep. Moving forward, because I mean, think about how the system has to optimize. I mean, if it takes on average somebody to purchase, within 7 days, but 1-day view, it's like they don't even have to click the ad and then they decide to purchase. It doesn't make any sense in most cases to use that unless you have a lot of purchases coming through.
Right. But it's not worth editing my proven
No.
campaign at this point, just all campaigns going forward.
Yep.
Okay. And each city should be its own CBO. Cool. Yes. So control audience, I found this interesting. How would I implement a control audience at this point?
Just the city.
Just what is that its own campaign?
No, just inside that ad set, you launch
Inside,
it in. Just the
inside like
interest or the
testing,
lookalike. It doesn't matter which one you put it in. Just have one of them.
not a CBO, just a regular campaign. Give it $10 a day, kind of thing.
No, you put in like right here in your interest testing as an ad set.
Right. I was gonna make since this is testing, I was gonna make this not a CBO. I was gonna make this just a regular campaign. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. But as long as you just want to see if that audience over time ends up performing well. In most cases, it'll be like the best one because it has the largest number of data to work with, and the pixel can do its own thing.
Right.
It's essentially like, hey, you're controlling it by choosing interest and choosing lookalikes, and you have one audience that you just let it do what it wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Because it might be better.
And the idea of these like regular campaign, these testing campaigns is let it run for a few days, see which ad sets are working, and then if they are working, duplicate it into the proven campaign and let it run as part of this.
Cut it down, just cut the ones and then retitle it. That's the easiest way to not disturb your results.
Cut, like just turn off the ad sets that aren't working and keep it as a regular campaign? Or should I just make it a CBO and set a minimum ad set spend for each one?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, once
Okay.
you have all the ones that are working, switch to CBO, then you can scale it up from there and just
Oh,
retile
just
it.
okay. Just keep it as the same campaign, but you switch CBO on. Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, okay.
That'll allow you to not have to worry about interrupting everything.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. Like audiences. So to look like audiences, I think we went through this. They automatically exclude people that have already purchased, or I should be excluding them.
You
I think
should
we
be
said,
excluding
yeah.
because that'll keep your frequency a little bit lower. Now your cost might be higher, but that's fine because you're reaching new people and that's naturally what you're needing to do. And your
What a
retargeting will just be
yeah.
scooping up all those other rebuys and repurchases.
hmm Okay. And so, but even on the proven one, should I be editing that to now exclude those
No,
ad sets?
never. Don't even
Just
don't
don't
even
even.
decide to touch that thing ever again. If you're gonna make any changes, you're either cutting or that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then retargeting, we went over this. So, oh, whoops. I should be targeting purchasers.
Right. You can do retargeting audiences on your leads. You can do it on your view content. You can do it on your. I mean, you can come up with tons of things. Page views, all of it. Add to carts, anything you can think of. You could be testing for retargeting there. People who engage with your ads, all of it.
What's the rule of thumb for a budget on retargeting? Because I noticed our frequency was quite high. It is generating a solid return, but obviously the audience is just super small. So how do you think about that?
Depends how many people you're reaching and what size it is. I mean, $10 per 10,000 people in most cases, but with retargeting, it's almost fine for it to really reach the same people over and over again.
hmm Okay, I'll play with it. I'll just monitor it. Um, yeah, okay. So then ad testing, just to reiterate, I should be testing new ads in
Right, because the moment you
campaigns.
can, yeah, exactly, because you'll probably end up finding ones that are generating 4 or 5x in Vancouver.
Yeah. And so once I find better ads, do I duplicate it into the proven campaign?
No, just start turning off the ones that aren't working.
But what about that proven campaign? How do I work new ads into there? Because I know those ads are going to get exhausted.
Yeah, just copy and paste. That's fine because if you have a proven ad, there's no worries about dropping it in a proven campaign. That's always fine
Copy. Okay.
because we know it's going to work in most cases with those audiences.
And is this the way it usually goes? Like you have this proven, campaign that you don't really want to touch, and say you go into the ad level of it, and you're like, okay, you know what? We've been running these ads in this campaign for a while. We have a new set of ads. We're flipping all these off and refreshing it with new ads for every ad
No
set in
way.
that campaign.
I would just paste them in there and let them go against each other. Let them get in a battle.
Yeah. Okay. So each ad set gets kind of like, do you follow the same methodology where you're doing like
Cutting
30
based
different
off.
ads?
No, not in your proven. You just put the proven ad in there. And then, like, let's say you have two, and
hmm
whichever one's getting the high returns, you keep. You essentially pin the two winning ads against each other.
In each ad set, you copy it in. So if there's 5 ad sets in here, you'd copy that ad in there 5 times.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Um, so you mentioned doing like the universal ad and copy and post engagement. Does that work? I'm assuming that doesn't work if you're testing 30 different creatives. This
It
is only
does.
once you're.
But I mean, it's just going to be a big, long process to go through if you want to do it. In most cases, it's just like as soon as you find a winning ad, you just start than making it a universal ad by having all the post IDs accurate.
Okay, so this is kind of like we're talking about copying the ad into the proven campaign. That at that point you would make it the same post ID so that those ad sets are just piling onto the same post.
Locked in. Yep.
Right. Okay. Um,
You can do it from the start as well if you want. It does help in the long run just because all those dollars just go towards it in the beginning in testing, which can end up helping.
mhm.
But it's just one of your it's a time evaluation call that you have to make on it. Like, is it worth spending X amount of hours just getting every single one of these IDs set up in every single ad set? It's very time consuming.
Right. Yeah, because I do want to take more of a like methodical approach with actually testing different ad creatives here. So I guess after this call, like the game plan is to restructure or at least launch a new interest campaign for Calgary, a new interest campaign for Vancouver. Each of these ad sets will have whatever, I guess the 30 different ad variations. That's what
That's
you
fine.
recommend?
Yeah. And then just start cutting them right away. Like
Every
within 48 hours, I would just start unleashing.
Okay.
In your case, because you'll have enough testing going on that it makes sense.
Um, and how much of it do you look into like, okay, this ad performed well because of the ad or performed well because it was in like organic food as an ad set, which is doing well?
Both. You look at it on both fronts.
Okay.
So like this right here, let's X this out and see if you have this. So you can go to creative reporting and this will pull it up for you. It'll stack all of them, stacks all the ads automatically from all the audiences. And this is just the quickest way to see which one's winning. And so like this ad right here, 8.45, only spent 36 though. But this one right here is clearly like the number one best performing because 2,600 spend, 6.57x return. So like that's clearly like the best one. And you just keep going down, you can see that. And you just compare like the level of spend towards the returns.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'll have a new campaign here, a new campaign here, a new retargeting. So I won't really be creating I can't remember what you said actually. Should I create a CBO targeting different lookalike audiences
Yeah.
for Calgary, or should that just be a regular campaign?
Oh, for the Calgary, since you already have one that's winning though, right? So I just stick with that.
Just stick with that, but
Yeah.
what about experimenting with any other
Oh
lookalike
yeah, that's fine
audiences?
too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But just stick it in its own
Campaign.
CBO.
Yep. Smaller budget. Don't, overdo it. The small budget there. Test it, see if it works. If it does, scale it up. And then
So I
if it's
guess I'm
winning, you
still.
can turn that one into a proven.
Do you just duplicate it into the proven one that's already there?
No, we don't.
Uh, the
We just
campaign itself
retitle
becomes
it.
proven.
Yeah, just like retitling it is so much more effective now because you're not hurting learning at all. Once it's
Mhm.
exited, why reset the entire thing again?
Right.
That's become such a heavy parameter that we have to now focus on because like you get all those conversions, you've really gotten it consistent, and then duplicating it is kind of like resetting the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. CBOs have kind of simplified a lot of this. It seems like.
Absolutely.
Um, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot for me to kind of go off of here.
Yeah.
um, I guess since I have you for a few more minutes, um, Is there anything else on the website itself that you can kind of point out as something that might need to change? Because we're just sending everybody to this page here.
What's your purchase conversion rate?
It's like just above 5%, but I think it's obviously lower than that because we have a lot of return purchasers.
Return purchasers?
Yeah, like people coming back and purchasing week over week.
Got it.
So it's like 100% of those people come onto the website and then just purchase. So it kind of artificially inflates the conversion rate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you have like a form to drop their emails to start doing that. Do y'all email the people whenever they purchase?
Yeah, I email them. So I use Campaign Monitor, and we have some workflows set up for abandoned cart and win backs and things like that.
Perfect. So as soon as they submit their email, now you're going to have even more ways to get in front of them. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you're getting a 5% above on this, I mean, that should be fine. Do you have other landing pages that you're testing?
Nope, this is pretty much it.
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I think I got a lot to go with here. So yeah, thank you very
Awesome.
much. And I'm going to continue working through the course as I kind of set some of this stuff up. So awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
Chase.
I'm excited. All right. Bye.
Okay, all the best. Bye.